Hello and welcome to Chapter 1, Managerial Accounting and the Business Environment. Your learning objectives for this week include many. Describe the functions performed by managers. We're going to look at the major differences between financial accounting, which is the course you likely took in the fall, and managerial accounting, this course. We're going to talk about the basic concept of enterprise risk management, i.e. business risks. We're going to talk about the nature and importance of ethics for accountants. That is, it's not what we do when somebody's watching us, but really what we do when nobody might ever be watching us. We're going to talk about corporate social responsibility, CSR, otherwise known as sustainability. And we're going to end up with some psychology aspects of management accounting, intrinsic motivation, extrinsic incentives, cognitive biases, and how all of these affect employee behavior. And why is this important? Well, as you'll see, likely in this second course video, when we're looking at financial reporting, we're looking to provide information about the company to external users. When we look at managerial accounting, we're looking inward to the company. And what is in a company? A whole bunch of employees usually. And employees are humans, NAI, but humans right now. And humans are affected by biases. We are affected by intrinsic motivation, extrinsic incentives. How do we balance all of these to have an efficient and effective company? And that is our job as managers or as managerial accountants. Okay. So this video is on learning objective LO number 1, describing the functions performed by managers. Each subsequent mini lecture video will start off with the learning objective or LO and its description. Sometimes when there are really little LOs, you might have 2 LOs in one video. But in general, one video, one LO. Okay, so describing the functions performed by managers. Managers plan, managers control, managers direct and motivate employees, and managers are involved in decision making. Oops, you have to see oh wow, what an exciting background. Okay, boop, got that back up. What I'm trying to do is hide this little person. Okay, you go over there and you go here. By the way, if you don't talk to your screen while you're doing it, does it know how to move around? Okay, so the reason for these mini lecture videos is, according to Bloom's taxonomy, we're going to be remembering and understanding the material. So most of these mini lecture videos will be me providing some additional background, some color commentary, in addition to what you reviewed in your textbook readings as reinforced in your smart book. However, we'll also have some questions. So when I have the questions, and for this chapter, it'll be at the end. However, in other chapters, they might be kind of sprinkled throughout. And when you have the questions, I would expect you to pause this mini lecture video and think about it, answer it. Maybe you answer it loud. Maybe you answer it on paper. Maybe you just answer it thinking in your head. Then you unpause and engage in the material that way. If anything is unclear, of course, or you just want to follow up, or you have like a really great contribution, something that you're proud of, want to hear about it, put it on the discussion board and we can engage that way. So always happy to kind of take things online, quote, offline or online extended. So that's how we'll do that. That is why, in general, the mini lecture videos, when they all add up, won't add up to 160 minutes. But if you consider all the pause time, concentration, kind of application time, that will help you to remember and understand the material, which is consistent with Bloom's taxonomy. If you take into consideration all of that time, you should plan for about 120 to 160 minutes a week for these mini lecture videos. And that's equivalent to 2 80-minute lectures. Okay. So, planning. Every organization has managers who perform the following major activities, the first one being planning. What's involved in planning? There, you'll be identifying alternatives, selecting alternatives that look like they do the best job of furthering the organization's objectives. Within the planning, you're developing budgets to guide the progress of the company, looking at its financial health towards a selected alternative. We can't just wake up and go, boom, like let's do this today. Nope, we need some plans that are based on numbers and that have looked through the possible alternatives. This will really come full circle once we're in our last chapter of this book, where we look at different short-term and long-term financial decision making. So a lot of this chapter 1 is really setting the foundation for which we'll be building upon in subsequent chapters. The next function that managers will perform in an organization is controlling. So controlling functions to ensure that the plans you just made are being followed. So this includes looking at performance reports that compare actual results with the budget, ensuring that people and business functions are actually doing what was set out in the plan. So this helps keep people accountable. From there, there's also directing and motivating. Remember how I said the last learning objective would be focused on intrinsic motivation, external incentives, as well as employee biases? Well, part of that is going to be handled during the controlling function of management. This ensures that plans are being followed. There's going to be feedback. So if an employee isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing, or they are doing what they're supposed to be doing, that is communicated via performance reports, hopefully often and plentiful, but at least annually. And performance reports can be on individual performance, they can be on group performance, they can be on company performance, they can look at budget to actual, and honestly, they should look at all of the above. Lastly, managers look at directing and motivating. Okay, great. How do we help our employees? How do we help our business functions manage day-to-day activities to keep the organization running smoothly? This might include employee work assignments, routine problem solving. Hey, we thought this was going to happen. It didn't. What do we do now? Conflict. I have too many stories that are coming up here, but let's just say that when I was in university, if my prof had told me that they would see people screaming in business environments, in consulting environments, in university environments, employees screaming at each other, I would have been like, what? No, these are respectable adults. And yet, conflict does happen, and people have many different ways of showing conflict. However, please do not do that. We can, act better than that. However, just be aware that it does happen, and as managers, we look to the root problem. Sometimes those can be avoided by having proper systems in place, as well as encouraging effective communication. Effective meaning polite. Yes, I'll just leave it there. All right, and decision making. Great. We've planned, we've controlled, we're motivating. Now we have our decision making. Let us make intelligent, data-driven decisions. Many of these decisions can revolve around 3 questions. That is, what should we be selling? Are we selling a product? Are we selling a service? Are we, selling a product as a service? Are we selling software as a service? What are we selling, product or service typically? Who should we be serving? Who are our customers? Who are we helping? Whose problem are we solving? And how should we execute? That is, how should we do what we're going to be doing to help people and to sell our product? So, what, who, how? Cool. And so all of these functions, work of management, are what is called the planning and controls cycle. You will see this in Exhibit 1.2 in your textbook, and these all circle around here for the decision-making process. We have to plan it, we have to direct and motivate, we need to control it and ensure that this is happening. And then at the end of the year, end of the month, end of the week, end of the day, who knows, during COVID, definitely, we were planning on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis. Typically, we tend to plan on a year-to-year basis. Strategically, tends to be 3 to 5 years. Operationally, every year. And so how do we formulate these plans? Well, direct, motivate, control, plan, direct, motivate, control, plan, right? So this is a very cyclical process, cyclical as well as iterative. So our plans build on information that we have from what actually happened in the past, and we iterate and make it better and make it better and make it better. Okay. So how do we make it better? Well, we need to look at the data. And data is wonderful because while it does, data that comes from humans will be potential for biases to go in. Data also provides a lot of more objective. Some people are like, oh, I think this will sell more, or I think this will sell more. Cool. What did we sell last year? Which one actually sold more? Let's look to the sales register. Let's look at the data. So when management looks to the data, management accountant roles in data analytics may appear as follows. And they really do involve each section of the planning and control cycle. So management accountants' role in data analytics could look like performing a standard analysis, a budget to actual analysis, could look at not standard analysis. Cool. We have these different types. We have 3 different streams of revenue. Perhaps we have 3 different software as a service. Who bought what? How did they buy it? Were they derived from, Facebook ads? Were they derived from TikTok ads? Were they derived from word of mouth? Were they did customers arrive from just a Google search, or perhaps an LLM, a large language model, as a recommendation? So we can perform, the typical standard analysis, accounting analysis, as well as non-standard analysis, kind of using your creative problem-solving tools. Then from that, management accountants provide input into decisions about data and systems. Perhaps we need to get more data. Perhaps we need to integrate into various systems. Perhaps we need to have initial analysis performed by the LLMs. So how can we do to actually kind of step outside of the system and build the system, make it better? We may work for a company that utilizes advanced technology. We may, as accountants or managers, introduce advanced technology and continuous to build within that. And for myself, I led a 3-year major project for CPA Canada, Chartered Professional Accountants of Canada, so our professional body. And during that project, I hired over 800 contractors, most of whom were CPAs, some of whom were programmers, and some of them were CPAs that did programming. And so absolutely introduced some different advanced technology. Before, LLMs were huge because this was just like a year or 2 prior to ChatGPT launching, introducing different risk-based analysis systems to help an efficient and effective process for people to evaluate student exams and student formative exams, like practice exams. Okay, so of note for this chapter, the appendix of chapter 1 has an appendix on data analytics that digs in further into the mechanics of data analytics. However, that is not examinable in this course. That is not a part of these mini course lecture videos. What is examinable is what is outlined in your syllabus and what was outlined in this video, which is understanding how data analytics integrates within the management accounting roles. So that is the high level awareness. Where does this fit in? Not necessarily the mechanics. However, if you're interested in more, you will likely have other classes at DAL that you can take, some of which you must take, and there's some stuff at the end of the chapter which I'd be happy to talk more about with you. All right, just not here. And the reason for that is students, at least me when I was a student and other students who have said they don't like to learn extra that is not examinable, unless it's outside in office hours or via email or discussion boards. But these videos are really going to be tied to helping you master the course as outlined in the syllabus. Okay, so why are we doing all of this? I'm going to go back a little. Why are we doing all of this? Why are we working as management in our planning control cycle, incorporating data analytics? And that is because of strategy. Our strategy, which is our game plan. It's our game plan for the next 3 to 5 years that enables a company to attract customers by distinguishing itself from its competitors. The focal point of the company's strategy should be its target customers. And in order to get, our target customers, we have customer value propositions, which is the essence of that 3 to 5 year strategy. So value propositions typically focus on providing customers with one of the following. Are you going to be products and service with exceptional quality and innovation? So are you like the BMW or Lexus or, controversial perhaps, are you the Tesla or the Range Rover, right? Like, are you electric? Are you gas? Are you kind of that higher end product or service that is really going for exceptional quality and innovation? Okay, that's not going to be cheap, but you're not going to the Apple store because it's the cheapest phone on the block, right? You're going there because it, in your opinion, is an excellent product. Or are you going with operational excellence? Are you going for the consumers that want the low-cost products or reliable service? Are you going to Walmart to buy your toilet tissue? Right? Like, you're wanting a reasonable product at the lowest price. You may not be able to find an employee. You might have to check yourself out, but that's okay because you're going for operational excellence. You're going for the satisfactory product at the lowest price. Or are you going to go for your customers using outstanding customer service? So are you the person that I went to the other day for my eyebrows? I went in, so I have naturally curly hair, which means my eyebrow hair is also curly, which means it can get kind of out of hand. And sometimes I'm like, man, I'm not going to have symmetrical eyebrows or even anything close to it. So too much information, my apologies. But these examples, I don't know, like accounting is everywhere. So I can't come in, it's wonderful. There's a nice little chair. There's a bolster for my legs. There's, soft playing music. I'm offered like a drink when I sit, like a tea or something when I sit down. I'm offered candies when I leave. Like, they talk to me throughout. Like, it was outstanding customer service. And I could really see, like, it wasn't the lowest price. It wasn't like I was going in for, like an eyebrow trim and like, tint or whatever. So it wasn't like I was going for like gold plated, eyebrows or anything. But like, it was a really nice way that they differentiated themselves with those customer service, so outstanding customer service. Okay, so when you're looking at companies and looking at the strategy, how are they going to attract their customers? Meaning, what kind of value are they going to provide? Now, when companies try to mix too many of these together, or they start trying to, go for high-end products when maybe they're positioned as a Walmart, those things can seem as a mismatch to consumers and might not be actually selling their strategy. They might be confusing the marketplace. So when we see things that don't quite align, that is cause for concern, and we can definitely see that as managers and as management accountants. So my last slide to you are a series of questions that I would like you to think about. What does it mean to manage? What does it mean in this course to manage? And what does it mean in the Faculty of Management? How do you think this course will overlap with other courses in your degree? What about your career? Unlike other videos, these questions are not about defining and solving this now, but rather, I would like to plant a seed and have you come back to these questions. If not actually, then theoretically, as it may serve as your foundation to understand this course and beyond. What does it mean to manage? Thank you so much for your attention in this video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.